Alright guys, welcome back for another video on HAIKYU Fly High, and today I am going to talk about the upcoming SSR character that I'll be getting very soon in Select Recruit, which is going to be Yaku, and also we are going to get Shirabu and also Ohira. So all three of them will be coming in the latest Select Recruit banner in about just a couple of days time. So I'll be going through their kit just to give you guys a few highlights on what is the kind of their main trait or main characteristic and how would you want to play them, and also some of my own recommendations on whether you should be summoning for them or not, depending on what other characters you currently have. Okay, so let's start off with Yaku. So first of all, I'm not going to read all of the skills for you. You guys can read that yourself. I will share this link in the video comment section. Obviously, all the credit to all of the authors who put in the effort here. But yeah, you guys can read the skills yourself. I'm just not going to spend time to repeat myself here. So first of all, in terms of skills, even though for Yaku there are a bunch of different things, there are only two things we really care about. Number one is the fact that he can passively buff all of your quick attack specialists on your team. So basically means if you are trying to build any quick attack team, whether it's for example, for the Miya twins in the future or Kageyama UR, Yaku is probably going to be one of the best liberal for you guys. So if you just want to, start having your liberal of choice for your future quick attack teams, then definitely do pick up Yaku for that reason. But then the other reason which makes Yaku insanely strong, and in fact he is probably I would want to say he's probably the best SSR character in this game, like full stop, like regardless of position wise, he's literally the best SSR character in my opinion, and the reason is all down to his skill tree. Now this reads very simple, it just says his receive is increased by a certain amount, that part we don't care. The second half is what makes him literally having the best skill in this game, like even comparable to a lot of the UR and the SP characters in my opinion, which is the fact that whenever his receive is normal, it changes to perfect. And I'll have to say, this is one of the most broken skill in the game. Now, I will probably do a more in-depth video about this in the future, but the way normal, perfect, and bad actions work in this game is that it translates to the next action immediately afterwards as well. And what that normally means is that, for example, if your result is normal, what it means the next action afterwards can either be the same level or one level higher or one level below. So if it's normal, that basically means there's a chance for it to be perfect or normal or bad. However, if Yaku is able to change his receive from normal to perfect, what that immediately means is that the set that's going to follow up after your receive can only be normal or perfect. It cannot be bad. And when a set cannot be bad, that basically means the spike cannot be bad. Okay, it's just as simple as that. So this is basically what makes Yaku so insane strong. Oh, by the way, the reason why when a set can be bad, spike can be bad is the fact that your set and spike actually have the same modifier. So whatever is your set, if your set is perfect, your spike will be perfect. If your set is normal, your spike will be normal. So even though, for example here, your receive can be perfect and therefore your set can be normal, your spike will guarantee to be at least normal or higher. It will never go bad. And that's basically what makes Yaku insanely strong. This literally can change the flow of the game instantly, because if you have like a bad spike, it's very likely to result in a block kill. However, if you have a normal spike, yes, the enemy can still potentially do a block kill, but it's going to be a lot harder, okay? And that's going to increase basically both of your chance of actually winning that point and also reduce the risk of you losing that point at the same time. So this is kind of why it's a massive game changer, and that's what makes him, in my opinion, the best SSR character in this game, full stop, okay? So definitely worth picking up Yaku for that reason. Now, one thing which is slightly annoying for a lot of the liberals in this game is the fact that a lot of time you would actually want to pick the liberal in order to fulfill a school bond, because a lot of the other really strong OP characters, they tend to be wind spikers or mid blockers, etc. And therefore, in order for you to actually fill a school bond, a lot of time you have to resort using your liberal for that purpose. So that's probably like the only thing which is going against Yaku. So for example, if you want to be a Shirabu authority, a lot of time you will be playing Yamagata as your liberal, and same thing for the other schools as well. However, let's say if you're not forced into that situation, then Yaku is normally going to be your go-to choice in terms of liberal for a very long time, till at least till like SP Nishino is out. Yaku is going to be your best liberal out there, okay? So that's basically a quick summary for Yaku. Now let's go to the other two characters. So Shirabu. Shirabu, I already talked about him in depth, and also Ohira in depth in my Shotozawa team guide. So I will share that link in the video comment section, and you guys can also watch that in terms of my verdict on both of them. But just a quick recap for Shirabu. Basically, he doesn't actually offer too much, I'm going to be honest. He is able to increase his own awareness. However, in terms of the buff he's able to provide to a team, it's not actually too much. It's literally just a mere 8%. So it's actually very, very low. And outside of this, he really doesn't offer much. What makes him even viable or playable is that you need to have him as skill resonance 2. Now, we don't have the bond for the skill resonance here, so I can't really show you that. However, as skill resonance 2, what you're able to do is you can potentially stack up to 5% awareness buff and also 10% reflex buff for your whole team. And the main thing that differentiates him amongst other setters is actually that reflex buff. Because when you actually want to pair up or create a Shotozawa team, what a lot of time is actually going to be needed is not actually your awareness, it's actually going to be your reflex stats so that you are able to reset or reduce the cooldown for your 2-dupe Ushijima in order for him to actually spam his ultimate. So that's basically what sets him apart against all of the other setters. So if you are planning to get Shirabu, be prepared to put at least 2 dupes in him. Otherwise, there's literally no point of getting him. And also, if you already have Orakawa, then I'll probably say he's going to be an easy skip as well. So he shouldn't really be your first choice, okay? And then we move on to Ohira. For anyone who is going for a Shotozawa team, Ohira is definitely going to be your best choice for your win spiker. Now, even if you were, let's say, lucky or unlucky and got Goshiki already, Ohira is still going to be a massive improvement to your team. And the main reason is that he is actually able to do a lot more defensive moves than what Goshiki is able to do. So, for example, you can see he has a receiving skill, and also he's able to increase his own reflex. And I already just talked about how reflex is actually going to be very, very important for a Shotozawa team when your Ushiji must at least 2 do in order to reduce the cooldown of his ult. So that's kind of what this is actually going to be very, very important. And likewise, he also has a skill 1 which further buff his receive, although this one is only when the enemy is quick spike, so it's a bit more conditional, okay? But that is kind of what makes him really, really stand out against Goshiki, because vast majority of the time on Shotozawa team, your Ushijima will be the one doing all of the spiking, and therefore Ohira is kind of the better choice out of the two in order for that receiving skill. Now, this is just going to be in the context of Shotozawa. However, he can actually be played outside of Shotozawa team as well. But for that to happen, you actually need him to be at least 6-2. Because when he is at 6-2, what's going to happen is that whenever he has an whenever he has a crit action, regardless whether it's for his receive or power spike, etc., what's going to do is it's actually going to reduce the cooldown of your entire team's ultimate attack. Once again, this is going to be a massive upgrade. It's going to be very, very nice for all of the teams outside of Shotozawa now. Because inside Shotozawa, to be honest, it doesn't actually make that big a difference. Because, for example, a lot of times your Ushijima can already reduce his cooldown by a lot. Therefore, you don't need the extra cooldown reduction from Ohira. However, outside of Shotozawa team, when you actually then mix him up with other team member, with other characters, a lot of them would actually appreciate this reduction cooldown. Especially this is for the whole team as well. So that makes him immediately one of the best support unit out there. But for that to happen, it needs to be at least 6 dupes, okay? So that's basically going to be my quick rundown of the 3 characters. I'm just going to do a quick recap now. So first of all, for Yaku, if you want to build for future quick attack team, for example, the Mia twins or Kageyama you should definitely get him because he will be the best liberal for them. And even outside of that, as long as the team you want to play, it's not so restricted in the sense that the school bond needs to have the liberal in order to actually fulfill that school, 4 character from the same school. Otherwise, Yaku is always going to be your best choice for liberal out here, okay? So that's going to be your reason on whether you want to choose Yaku. And then for Shirabu, vast majority of the time you should be skipping it unless you don't have Orakawa. However, in honesty, I'll probably suggest you guys to just try and summon for Orakawa right now if you roll on. Or the other alternative is that if you have already waited long enough, you can also wait till Shirabu and see whether you don't want to choose him as your first choice. You probably want to choose Ohira as your first choice if you want to go for that Shotozawa team. However, let's say if you lost the 50-50 and got Shirabu instead, then you can fine go with Shirabu instead of Orakawa. So if you want to be a bit more budget, that is potentially what to do. However, you absolutely have to put at least 2 dupes in Shirabu, okay? Then we move on to Ohira. He should be everyone's first choice if you're trying to build that Shirabu team, because he just makes that team very much stronger with the fact that he's the more defensive wing sparker and also have a high reflex and therefore can potentially reduce the cooldown of Ushijima. And outside of this, if you really want to build for long term, him at 6 dupe can also be very good for teams outside the Shirabu. So you can also go down that route, but just be prepared to spend at least 6 dupes on him in order for him to be that good.